taxmen are usually hated and despised everywhere in the world. I'll give you an example of a man who though was despised, but even before his death, his nation hailed him as great. It was Sir Peter of Russia. He taxed people wearing beard. If you wore beard during the reign of Sir Peter, you will be taxed, because it's seen as a sign of affluence and honor. So you pay to wear a beard. In saris, in Sir Peter's era in Russia, if you put on a hat, you pay tax. So Peter taxed virtually everything that had a tinge of luxury. But to his credit, eternal credit, he provided such monumental public services and infrastructure that before his death, he was called Peter the Great. You can Google and check it.
Peter the Great. Are you wearing a beard? Are you wearing a hat? Do you have a gold chain on your neck? Oh, I can see a gold wristwatch on your wrist. In that case, you are due to pay extra taxes. That was Professor Rauf Aregbesola once again. And yes, you are right. You guessed right. We are staying with the story of the 140th quarterly meeting of the Joint Tax Board, which was held in Oshogbo, Osun State at the end of March 2018. Governor Aregbesola says that you can Google and check out that fact. Not yet. Wait until we finish yet another 25 minutes of information and education on taxation. Because today's episode of Tax Matters promises to be a blockbuster in tax education. Perhaps the best way to begin this second installment of the story of the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board is to hear from two eminent stakeholders: the chairman of the host Internal Revenue Service, the Osun State Internal Revenue Service, and the executive secretary of the Joint Tax Board. What will you consider the takeaway from this 140th meeting of the JTB?
It's really been an eye-opener for us, especially our interaction with Mr. Governor. He interacted with us very closely, and at the end of the day, his words of counseling and the encomiums emphasizing clearly the importance of taxation in the arena of good governance, because that is where you provide the necessary resources to be able to execute projects and infrastructures for the welfare of citizens. We also looked at the issue of automation, and the chairman briefed us about the treaty we've signed on the automatic exchange of information, and that is coming on very soon. And the good news is that we have been able to consolidate the various silos of data into one team database of over 10 million records. And we believe by April, when the final report would have been produced by the consultant, we will be edging towards 12 million tax records. We're also working on collaboration with the Nigeria Interbank Settlement System to integrate with the BVN database. We are going to put a platform in place that will enable us to have real-time online integration, and given that they currently have about 33.6 million individual records, that will give us, in addition to whatever we have, at least another 14 million taxpayers that can come into the tax net immediately. And we believe that we can use this as a basis for having a reliable database that will form a very efficient platform for the automatic exchange of information, both internally and externally with us.
We sought to know if obtaining the bank transaction details of a bank customer would not amount to a violation of the bank customer confidentiality rule.
The tax authority can compel whoever has those information in whatever form or manner to so surrender them for tax purposes. the tax authority also have confidentiality clauses in their various laws and in their various operating manuals. And therefore, the issue of confidentiality is as secure. There's not different from the information that currently exists with the various tax authority. It's confidential. They are under no circumstances will they disclose that information to anyone unless there is a court order to do so. And that was some of the issues we also considered in the treaty that we signed with the OECD that are putting us with over 138 other countries for the issue of automatic exchange of information. So the one with the Nigerian Interbank Settlement System, even though that is eternal, is already under law that those information should be provided to the tax authority.
Going back to the theme of the 140th meeting of the JTB, that is deepening internally generated revenue beyond personal income tax. Which taxes are you looking at? Are you talking about new taxes?
Certainly not new taxes. We want to concentrate on areas where we can efficiently and for ease of compliance generate more taxes. In the various tiers of government, there are revenues and levies and licenses and fees that are collected that are not necessarily personal income tax. For example, road taxes. If you don't own a car, you don't pay those taxes. It's only when you apply for a vehicle license you pay those taxes. Driver's license. If you are not a driver, you don't. Akins permit. There are several other licenses that go with all of that. Even inspection of produce is also part of it. So there are various taxes that are being collected. Now, with the reforms of IGR, we are trying to consolidate all of that. And we believe that the potential to grow the non-personal income tax, that is the indirect taxes, is more in the overview.
Still on the issue of deepening internally generated revenue sources beyond personal income tax. When you people talk about taking taxation beyond personal income tax at the state level, what are you talking about? What taxes are you talking about?
Well, basically, revenue accruing to the states are many. Personal income tax is just one of them. Yes. If you take a state, any state in Nigeria, the revenue heads of any of the states in Nigeria, the minimum we can get is about 258. So that means we have 250 revenue sources. But mind you, they are not multiple. There are various sources of income. And some of them are levies, some of them are charges, and some of them are users charge. Okay, so we want to look at that. Okay, fine. Don't let us over-concentrate on personal income tax alone. Let us look at other revenue source, okay, that the government can tap into, which prior to now, we might have ignored. Personal income tax is a national law. The state does not have control over that. Whatever is charged in Sokoto is the same amount that is charged in Osun. It's the same amount that is charged in Oyo, Lagos, or anywhere. And then the federal government can come with any policy which might affect. So what you don't have control over, basically, just like oil revenue from oil, we don't have control over it. So the states, there are some revenue items they've gotten control over. They have to look at the legal framework, the rates, okay, that is commensurate with the level of the economy in that state. So we have absolute control, kind of, so to speak, over other non-PIT revenue. Like, look at building plan. You can't just build a property unless you obtain a building plan. Certificate of occupancy is another revenue source. Evaluation for environmental impact assessment before you cite a business or cite a mass, for instance, is a source. Right of way before you lay optic fiber is another. The levy on it is another source of revenue to the state. Where the state has consolidated ground rents, tenement rates, as well as neighborhood impress that most of them have done that into land use charge, is another veritable source of income to governments. Okay, but like I also mentioned, they are not double taxed. If you don't use some of them, you don't pay. They can also assist, okay, the personal income tax Because when we are serious and collect adequate revenue from some of these sources that I've mentioned, we indirectly and inadvertently bring to the tax net the individuals.
Every day, my people they for work. Some they do office work. Some get it them own business. So all of them want good road, constant power for better life. Oh, whether now office work, oh yeah, pay your tax. Whether now your own business, oh, pay your tax. If you want a better life, oh, pay your tax. Now your civic responsibility, pay your tax. Better soup, now money cook am more. Oh yes. Nothing goes for nothing, my brother. If you want potable water, security and hospital for make life jolly.
That's right. Good roads, good hospitals, portable water, adequate security all come from taxpayers' money. Play your part in making Nigeria great. Everybody, small scale, big companies, entrepreneurs, do the right thing. Pay your tax. This message is from the Federal Inland Revenue Service, FIRS.
The delegates to the 148th meeting of the Joint Task Board paid a courtesy call on the Ooni of Ife, Arole Odua, Oba Enitan Adeyeye Ogunwusi, for royal blessings and royal tips. Mr. Babatunde Fowler, Executive Chairman FIRS and Chairman Joint Task Board, was leader of delegation.
Taxation is not new to your officer, because before today, the first true tax administrators were our royal fathers. And during that time, taxation had 100% compliance. Nigeria as a country, since 1965, and by 1973, we had cut off taxation and relied on oil revenue. And over the last 50 years, up until 1999, when His Excellency, the then Governor of Lagos State, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, had the first tax conference in Nigeria to look back into the issue of taxation against oil revenue. And that is where our climb started. Right now, in terms of total revenue, non-tax revenue is about 65% of the total revenue of the country. And oil, even if oil prices do go up, I believe as a nation, as a people, as a government, we have seen that we cannot rely on the revenue from oil. But in bringing back the people to the culture of taxation, we need your support, we need your prayers, because no one word from you to tell all your subjects to pay tax is a law.
In his response, the Ooni called for greater involvement of traditional rulers in the scheme of things for a smoother running of the tax system.
Like the head of the team said, we as traditional rulers, we have been the custodian in terms of taxation for time immemorial. We have been the custodian of culture, heritage, and tradition. Everything has a very strong link to our heritage, to our existence, even before the emergence of Nigeria in 1914. And I will use this opportunity to tell the entire country that we are willing to work with all the administrators of the entire Joint Tax Board. And we want to work with all the personnel. To me, as one of the traditional rulers in this country, we are underutilized. If we want to get to the level we want to get to in Nigeria, it's about time for all of us to see this country as a common interest for each and every one of us. I believe in this unity of this country. I believe in the corporate existence of this country. It's very important for us to know that the natural rulers have been doing this thing from time immemorial in terms of helping administrators to make sure that taxes and all the levies are duly paid. We will make your job a lot easier. We all have a stake in this country. We will work with you. I am speaking on behalf of even the entire Nigerian traditional rulers, because as the co-chairman of National Council of Traditional Rulers of Nigeria, the authority vested on me, we are willing to work with your team to better the lot of this country, for us to increase our tax base and also to increase the tax net.
On day 2, the meeting got into full gear with presentations by consultants who came with various ideas and proposals aimed at equipping the tax authorities with necessary tools for making tax compliance easier for taxpayers. More importantly, there was a presentation on the theme of the meeting, deepening internally generated revenue beyond personal income tax, by the incumbent chairman of the Kwara State Internal Revenue Service, Dr. Muritala Awodun.
When I was to get this job, that's before I got the job in 2015, the state was trying to come up with a model of autonomy. And for one reason or the other, I was consulted by the economic advisor, and I decided to do some little study of the state IGR over the past years. And I discovered that apart from the issue of leakages, which is what all of us experience in our various states, the area of strength of the state, unlike what a lot of people believe, and you know facts or data don't lie, you probably say, everybody says, oh, this state is a civil service state, that state is a civil service state, without going into, the facts and figures. And I discovered that there are a lot of activities relating to the IGR of the state, particularly the area where the leakages are more are in the MDAs. So if attention is not focused on the MDAs, you'll probably not be able to grow the revenue. But that is the most difficult area to even pay attention. So what we did for the first 2 years was, without mentioning this reality, we focused our attention on blocking leakages generally to see what we come out of it. And by the time that was done, the results also proved to us clearly that improvement had come in the non-PIT areas, particularly the MDAs. And after 2 years of startup, as we move into our 3rd year, we decided to re-strategize that if we are going to grow, then we must focus our attention on those non-PIT collections. And we decided that we will fully automate collections at all MDAs. And that's what we are driving for this year, because that's the area that we think we have strength and we can still grow the revenue. For the PIT revenue, it is limited because it's based on the number of people employed in your state, and you cannot grow that overnight. If that must grow, you must encourage the startup of various type of businesses in your state, and that depends on the kind of business environment that you have in your state. Then you cannot attract maybe federal MDAs or even state MDAs overnight. These are things that don't happen. You can't make the government to employ people overnight. So you are limited in terms of what you can do there. And when you look at it as well, apart from just correcting the inefficiencies in collections there, which grew the revenue appropriately, that's all that you can do. Most of the things that will grow revenue for PIT-related areas have other external factors that are beyond the Internal Revenue Service that the state must consciously drive. But for the NDAs, because they are already state-owned agencies, and if they are inefficient, at least if the government wants more money and you are pointing to where they can get more money, they will be serious to do something about it, even though there are political issues as well there, because you have to go into a lot of tussles with those who were benefiting, from the inefficiency of those systems. And that's why it took us almost 2 years to be able to focus our attention on that.
Dr. Awodun's paper was discussed by Mr. Thomas Joel Onawakpo of the Federal Inland Revenue Service.
Enforcing the tax law has sometimes led to heavy-handed behavior by some of our government and tax administration agencies. Because most times we depend or we put emphasis on our narrow tax base, maybe the payee, and not diversifying into other areas or broadening our tax base. What happens invariably is that we keep hitting the same spot
every now and then. And with that spot I will keep hitting, what happens invariably is that the tax-paying public begin to see us as being insensitive to their plight. That is like the few people that are paying taxes every year are the same few people who go after every year trying to collect the revenue.
As has been variously said on this episode and at various times in the past, tax compliance rests squarely on the perception of the populace as to the efficiency and effectiveness of the spending of revenue generated from taxes paid. In line with this, delegates to the 140th meeting of the Joint Tax Board went on an inspection tour of projects executed with taxpayers' money in Osogbo.
You are welcome to AUD Government Paris Elementary School. So we have 11 of such in Osogbo town that is completely built by this present administration and it has all the facilities that kids will love to stay in. We have the playground, we have the chairs that are so comfortable for the people to sit down, right from the age of 4 and above. So comfortable chairs, comfortable learning environment, and they provide for them free meals. So in other words, they can have balanced diet each and every day. We also have the middle school.
Àwọn ní àjọ tí wọ́n máa ń ṣètò bí ìjọba ṣe ń pawó wọlé ní ìpínlẹ̀ kọ̀ọ̀kan àti ní gbogbo Nàìjíríà. Olórí àjọ yẹn ńlọ̀gá ẹ̀ ẹ lè máa ti gbọ́ tó máa pé Túndé Fowler àwọn ni. So wọ́n wá láti wo ibo ni ìjọba ná owó orí àti owó tó ń pa wọlé lábẹ́lé. Wọ́n fẹ́ wá wo bí tó ń ná sí èló jẹ́ kan wá. Wọ́n fẹ́ fọ̀rọ̀ fi wá in lẹ́nu wò nígbà tó wà lórí ọ̀nà.
Ẹ ṣeun, inú mi dùn gan-an lórí ìjọba tí Ọlọ́run yàn fún wa ní Ọ̀ṣun. Particularly ìjọba tó bá ń ṣe ọ̀nà òun làwa ọlọ́kọ̀ mọ̀ pé òun ni ìjọba wa. Bó ni kókó tèmi. Bí mo ṣe wà yìí mo lọ́mọ tó ń lọ school. Ìdùn àwọn ọmọ wa ò kó dùn wálé mọ́ ní school. Wọn ò kó dùn wálé mọ́. Ìtẹ̀báraga tí ọmọ school fi ń jókòó gbogbo classroom tán kọ́ bíi tìlú òyìnbó ni. Ọmọ mi gan-an tó yẹ pé tẹ́ bá ní kó lọ school inú rẹ̀ ò ní dùn. Ṣùgbọ́n nísìnyí àwọn nǹkan mèremère tó ń lọ tó ṣẹlẹ̀ lórí ètò ẹ̀kọ́ ó ti mú àwọn ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọmọ nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí láti lọ sí iléèwé. So inú wa dùn gan-an lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀.
A kí gómìnà wa èèyàn takuntakun ní ìlérí tí ẹ ṣe fún wa nígbà tí wọ́n fi gba mandate wọn wọ́n mú lérí yẹn ṣẹ. Wọ́n ń gbé gbogbo sábọ̀ pé gbogbo bí títí ó ṣe rí ní gbogbo bí torí bí inú igbó ni níjọ́run àná gbogbo ibi tó wà nínú igbó gbogbo ẹni gómìnà ti bá a sọ di títì. Títì ní kẹ́kẹ́ tó wá ń tún ṣe àti ní overhead bridge lọ́sùn bíi ti wù sí mọ́. Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá ní tọ́kọ́ bá a ṣe head bridge àwọn bíríìjì ńláńlá wọ́n ṣe sí Gbẹ̀gán àti dàbí Èkó wọ́n ṣe sọ́ọ̀sì gbogbo àti dàbí Èkó ẹjẹ́ tó wọ ọ̀nà Gbẹ̀gán Ìbàdàn road ó gbé láti ibi roundabout Gbẹ̀gán yẹn nítorí gbé lọ sí ààlà wa nípínlẹ̀ Ọ̀ṣun. A dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá wọ́n kúṣẹ́ ribiribi tí wọ́n ṣe èyí tó wá kún sùkúù tí wọ́n tó wá ń kọ́ gbogbo sùkúù tí wọ́n ń kọ́ ń pátá àrírú rẹ rí. Ilé ẹ̀kọ́ tí ń ṣe ẹ̀kọ́ gan-an ó dàbí kàtà bá sọ pé ní yunifásitì mi gò tó dáa tó ilé ẹ̀kọ́ tí ń kọ́ ẹjẹ́ àwọn ìtọ́kọ́ sí Osogramu ìtọ́kọ́ sí gbogbo skul tọ́kọ́ gbogbo local government tọ́kọ́ skul sí pátápátá bí yunifásitì ní gbogbo skul tọ́kọ́.
So eléyìí kí ló máa ṣe fún yín? It's very short and good. Short and good. Ó dùn mọ́ yín nú. What's the name of the governor of this place? Arẹ́gbẹ́ṣọlá. What has he done for you?
He provides good roads for us.
We really appreciate your governor for this. Okay. For this route. But this place is very shorter and beautiful.
Owó yìí ti ń wá. Ẹ mọ̀ pé owó orí ni.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà.
Ṣẹ́yìn sanwó orí.
Pẹ̀lú ògo Ọlọ́run lágbára Kristi. Mo ń san fún Ọ̀ṣun state government bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà. Wọ́n fún mi ní káàdì mi pé nínú ilé lágbára Ọlọ́run bẹ́ẹ̀ ni sà. Torí láìsí iṣẹ́ yóò lè lọ.
Thank you very much, sir. So far, so good. Our governor is making serious effort. You could see things on ground, trying on schools, on roads, and many other aspects of social social infrastructures. So I can commend that it's making effort. And you people that that are here to vet his work and commend him, thank you for coming. God bless, sir.
I'm just telling the governor is doing very great job. We passed through, we are coming from Iwo, and we are able to pass through this road. It's very good. We enjoy it.
Very good. And this is a confirmation from the transport workers who said their children now love to go to school.
Taxpayers' money in action. Kudos to the Osun State government. Kudos to Governor Rauf Aregbesola, and kudos to the Joint Tax Board for creating a tax-friendly environment. To you, our viewers, we say many, many thanks for watching today's episode of the program. Remember, it pays to pay your tax. See you next week.